Hello there folks, welcome back to Game Over Gerkinman. I'm Gerkinman, and this is of course Metroid Prime. Alright, so we are going, this is where we ended up last episode, we are going to be heading back into the Chozo Ruins because there is a little something in here that we kinda need to collect. So what I might do is, because basically I'm just recovering old ground through here, I'm going to cut from here, and when we next meet up, I think there's a couple of items I can get in the Chozo Ruins now that I couldn't get previously that I'll be able to get, but generally we'll meet up, we'll be in a new spot, so I don't think this episode's going to be particularly long, we're just getting one new item, but we'll see how we go, so I will see you guys in a second. Alright, so first of all, the first item we're going to be collecting on our way to our target is in this room. You can see this big tree here, and if you scan it, this tree seems to have weakened due to cellular decomposition, and you can kind of hear a one of those little item sounds. So if we blow this up, and then hop, you can see that there is a missile in there. And to get that, we actually kind of need to jump from up there. So I'm just going to head up there to get that. And that is the first of the, I think there's another missile expansion that you might remember from earlier in the game where you needed the spider ball to get to it, so. Oh, there's another one over there too. Well, there you go. Two in the same sort of area-ish. So there's one of them. And then this one, I believe, yes, you need the grappling hook in order to get that one, which we currently don't have. But hey, we're up to 70 missiles, so, you know, it's a good thing. Alright, so I'm going to cut this again, and when I come back I'm going to be getting another one of those missiles, but this one will be in a different area again, so I will be back shortly. Alright, we are back, and this is a room that you may recognize from previously. And there is a spider ball track here, and a missile tank, so what you need to do here is you simply just jump into here, and then hey, presto, once you hit the spider ball, you're up on here, and you're off to the races. Nothing super exciting or difficult or anything like that, but, you know, a missile's a missile. So that is another one down. Now, I believe there might be one other one I can get. I'm not sure if I have enough missiles to actually get it, because you have to do some funky stuff to get to it. I'm not sure I can do it yet, so I might leave that. So when I return again, we're going to be heading to our main room for this episode, which is where we get our next item, so I will be with you again in a moment. Alright, so speaking of collecting items, I remembered another one. There is another item in this room which we can get. You can hear it going on there in the background. There is a missile expansion in this room as well. And I think that expansion should allow us, if we play our cards right, to unlock not like a mandatory upgrade, but definitely something that can come in handy later in the game. So we're going to get that. So this is very much another one of those sort of, what do I want to call it? Just like a little upgradey episode where we just get lots of small things, lots of cuts. So as we scan this up here, structural weakness detected throughout sandstone wall. Well, what happens if... Oh, maybe that's not what I needed. Maybe it's just the double jump I need to get up there. I've forgotten how to jump up there now. I could have swore there was an easier way of getting up here, unless it was just jumping on this thing, which it was. So it's a double jump you need to get in here, not the super missiles. So there you go. But that's another expansion. And here we go. It's giving us another update since we're spending so long picking up little upgrades. Abnormally low temperatures at ruin site. The antechamber. Intriguing. So what's that all about? Well, that's actually what we're here to find out this episode, so... To get there, I simply... Well, it's a good thing I came to this room, I suppose. I simply come through here. So it looks like we'll have to get that other upgrade another episode, because that's all the way back in the opposite direction, and I don't really feel like going back there. But there are definitely a few other items that we need to pick up here later on in the game, so... This won't be the last time we come here. Although for all intents and purposes, this is the last big upgrade in the in this particular area. Shriek bats everywhere. Come in. It's a beautiful Sunday morning here. Absolutely beautiful. There's a spider wall track, so I think this is like works out as a little shortcut. I'm not sure about what's the deal is with those disappearing blocks. They seem a little bit weird. And here is a door which we cannot open yet, but it is important. So once we take care of these guys, which you know weren't too hard to take care of in the end. There is a lore over here, so let's scan this guy. Okay, so what is this otherworldly pestilence that infests the land, seeking out life in its blind need for corruption? And where did this meteor that brought it originate? Was it crafted by alien hands, or is it a roving chunk of a planet that suffered a violent end? Our minds quail? Maybe. In horror at the thought that long ago, in some corner of the universe, as yet unseen by our eyes, an entire planet was perhaps once polluted with this great poison. Whatever cataclysm may have ruptured that doomed place must have been mighty indeed, and if other meteors from it spread through space, bearing this evil to far corners of the universe, we hold fast to the hope that this is not so, that the only surviving remnants of this evil are here on Talon 4. Then at least there is hope for its eradication. So, hey, check it out. Bunch of spider ball tracks. So yeah, as I pointed out, this is a door that we cannot open yet because... Oh, there's no scan on it. I thought you could scan those doors for some reason. But apparently you cannot. Now, getting up onto this thing, something, like I think there's just an upgrade up there. It's nothing crazy important, but I can never remember quite how to actually get up on there in the first place. Unless it's by a... Is this it? I don't know. Anyway, we'll come back to that later on. There might be something here that we're missing. That's where we came through, but there's a little hole here underneath this Chozo lore. This is interesting too, what's in that Chozo lore, because I don't think at the time Metroid Prime was planned as a trilogy. I guess like that little lore piece opened it up to being a trilogy, or gave them something to work with, but I don't think the game was ever originally planned to be a trilogy like that. And so here we have a completely new area that we're in. I love these like beams of light. I mean, they're obviously pretty primitive, but I still think they look pretty cool. And you've got these little bugs here blowing around in it. And there's this old ruins of a half pipe, which there should be a scan walls in here somewhere. Let's see what we have here. No scan. Oh, everything's too far away to scan. And there's another door here, which once again we cannot open with this weapon. There's also quite a bit of Chozo lore here. So this is an important part of the Talon 4 for the Chozo, evidently. They obviously have living quite a lot of their history here. Okay, so Chozo script translated. To the entrusted one, if you read these words, then our hope has not been in vain. Your path is fraught with danger, monstrosities beyond description lurk in the shadows, starving, hunting for prey, searching for ways to quench the poisonous urges that bloom in their brains. Some of these are shrewd, but they are blinded by their evil designs. Believing in the black promise of the great poison, they seek to harness it for their own ends. It is at these at last that are the greatest danger. When you rid the universe of these creatures, you will be one, the true and trusted one. So I think they're actually talking about the space pirates. I think. None know if our temple, the cradle, will prove powerful enough to contain this evil forever. For now, it wraps around the abomination, cutting it off from the world above. However, we believe the power of the cipher, which has been produced by linking the 12 artifacts, should be strong enough. The fate of this world is now left to the one who will collect all the artifacts in the future. The time when this entrusted one knows is approaching. So just more stuff about the prophecy, and if they don't know if if they can contain the poison with those 12 artifacts that we'll be collecting. Whoops, I did not mean to press that button. Many Chosen were gifted with distant sight, and even more begin to learn it as our harmonization with the universe becomes more and more complete. We peer forward, seeing prophecy into the riddles of the water, hearing rumors of coming days on the breath of the wind. Though we celebrate the distant sight, many of these visions are dark. The worst of the prophecies, and the most common, tells of the coming of the worm. Born from parasites, nurtured in a poisonous womb, the worm grows, devouring from within until the world begins to rot. Not all the prophecies come to pass, of course, but we cannot help but fear this dark portent. So that's the first time we've heard mention of the worm, which is going to be a very significant aspect of the game later on. And here we have a statue that's worn with it. I wonder what will happen if we do that. Looks like if you use thermal vision, it seems to be generating heat. Something behind the wall seems to have been activated. Oh, I thought I had to shoot that with the wave beam, but I didn't. Alright, so now we have a trackball up here. So I really like the way this room, kind of like the pacing of it in terms of puzzle solving. You come in here, it's a bit of history to read. You need to kind of master the art of the boost ball. Getting the timing right on it does take a lot of practice, but once you've mastered it, it's a lot of fun to use. Alright. It's all in the timing. Sorry that I did a little cut there because it was took me a while to get my timing right on that. Anyway, now we've powered this Spiderwall track. Oh boy, Spiderwall tracks for days. So as much as I was just laughing at how much this was kind of kicking my ass in terms of getting the timing right, it is a good obviously it's a good way of teaching players how to master it. So I was launching it far too late. You want to launch it just before you roll, obviously, whereas I was trying to pick up the momentum and continue it just before I hit the pipe, which doesn't make as much sense when you think about it. Alright, here we go. Now I believe this part up here is just a missile expansion. Yes. Nothing crazy exciting. I don't think there's anything over this side. So all that work just for a missile expansion. But, I gotta collect them. They're important. Especially later on in the game, as you'll see. Alright, now we're just gotta get back out of here again, which is not going to be too difficult at all. And we're gonna move on to the next room. So it's gonna find, like, there's a lot of puzzle solving in that particular spot, but it's all completely optional. You don't need to do any of that if you don't want to. If you're speedrunning it without trying to collect everything. You get these cool little particles just here underneath this little gap here, which I think is pretty cool. Not so cool as having all these guys here. Out of my way, bugs. Alright, so this is a very important room, and as you can already see, there's something funky and weird going on over here. What is that all about? Well, the music makes it sound like it could be something important. And you'd be right. Aberration, the Chozo Ghost, spectral entity, bioelectric field invulnerable to natural energies. As these entities phase in and out of existence, the only way to track them accurately is with an X-ray scanning. This partially phased nature makes them invulnerable to natural energy types such as fire, ice, and electricity. Their aggressive and erratic behavior is most likely due to the corrupting effects of Phazon and the Talon 4 environment. They appear to be drawn to Chozo religious sites where they wreak havoc upon anything that dares enter the area. So this is as it states, a Chozo Ghost. There will be some... Oh crap, it just vanished. There will be some lore later on that actually explains the origins of these guys and how they came about. But for now... And it's also kind of interesting that you can only really hurt them with your power beam. As it's stated, they're completely immune to natural attacks. So... You have to use your power beam, basically. Normally you can take them out with one power missile. But because the power missile takes a little while to load, you have to have your timing right on there, just like that. And there we go. So this is a hell of a puzzle room. There's quite a lot to do in this little room here. The least of which is read up on some of this lore that's in here. So first of all, we have this little thing here. The Elder's greatest power lies beyond the second lock. And that's referring to the upgrade that we're going to be getting. Mechanical structure of bridge indicates it can be rotated, so that's going to come into part later on. Identified as statue of Chozo Elder. According to Chozo lore, these statues served as the watchful guardians of tombs and shrines. Its outstretched hands are empty, as if waiting an offering. So you might recognize one of these from, they're in Super Metroid as well. Although in Super Metroid they have like these giant helmets over the top of them. It's essentially the same thing. And we've got another law. Things bound to earthly shapes are temporal and frail. Existing in single dimension, they are fragile, vulnerable, and ultimately mortal. However, not all things obey this law. Shapeless, they wait beyond the realm of perception, emerging only when one arrives who can feel their presence, such as the will of the Chozo. Our will to defeat the evil seeping into this planet remains. We desire only to see the darkness meet its end. The will of the Chozo has no mind or reasoning of its own, though. This will be the Entrusted One's trial. So you can see them talking about the spirit energy and that sort of thing, so that's obviously got a bit to do with his ghosts. But let's see what the deal is with this guy up here, if we can just hop into his hands. I probably should have just jumped in there and then mothballed. Seems disrespectful just to jump on its hands, though. Ah, well. And here we go. So this is our first little piece of the puzzle here. This will power these 4 switches. Now at the moment we can only activate one of them, but that will very quickly change. So I'm just going to make our way up there. Don't think... Oh yes, this is a save point, so we'll come back here when we're done with this particular puzzle room at the end of the episode. I do like this temple music, I think it's kind of peaceful. So notice there's no regular power beam option in here. There's simply the wave beam and the ice beam options. So once you've shot that, you can come around here and you can power this. And as you can see, that is what rotates this. But there's actually 3 different rotations on here, so each one of those little holes causes the pipe to go in a different direction. So your path is opened. You get back into this guy's hands here. And off we go on a new adventure. And that'll return to its original position. I just love how peaceful the music is in this particular spot. So there's actually a force field here, which I think there's a way of disabling. I thought there was. Safety shield online, window secure. Okay, maybe not. There it is. Safety shield offline, use caution near window. So basically this is one of those shortcuts I mentioned in the previous episode, so now I can just hop up here and you don't have to worry about solving that puzzle every time. So it's good that they give you those sort of little options. So this puzzle room leads to another puzzle room. Drainage shutoff is holding, maintaining the water level at a reflecting pool at 95%. So if you hop into this water here, you can see that there's a bunch of little fishies swimming around. I still really like the way they move, it looks really natural. Unfortunately, they won't get to hang around for long. I'm sorry guys, but duty calls. So now that we've done that, we have ourselves a half pipe. And there's quite a few different options, things to do in this room, but the main one is trying to get sucked up by these guys first of all. There's a particular item here that we're here to get. So first of all, what's in here? There is another save point. So there's two save points very close to each other. But there's also something over here, so what's that all about? I hear you ask. Or it's what you should be asking. And the answer is, there is an ice beam. We just got ourselves our third beam type. Ice beam acquired. So now we can fire ice at things. So we've got a few options as to where we can go now, but actually before I leave this room, what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back to the previous one and we're going to get this one last item and then that'll wrap up the episode. Otherwise you've got to come back here later on in the game and it's just, well, we have to do that anyway with the final beam, but it's so close we might as well do it now. And we're under attack while all this is happening, so that's kind of hilarious. Now there's 3 of them, which does seem a little bit excessive. Maybe this doesn't work while these guys are here? I don't know. Fighting 3 of these guys at once isn't such a great thing though. Especially since their attack distorts your vision like that. That's kind of annoying. I haven't hit a single guy yet. I remember why I stopped coming in here. Things like this, I think, are like harder than some of the boss fights in the game, to be completely honest. How many missiles have I got? 62. Alright, let's just wait for these guys to pop up. Like that, that's 1 down. One down, 2 to go. Just get away from me, show his stupid ugly face again. Where are you? So their attacks will actually also stop you from charging your beam. If you've got a charged beam, they will actually discharge it, which is kind of annoying. There we go, they're taken care of. Alright, so here we go. Let's see what it was behind the ice door. What wonders could lurk? An energy tank. Shan't ever say no to an energy tank. Is there anything in here of note? I don't think so. Nope, just a hole to get out of. So that's going to wrap this up for this episode. I'm just going to make my way back to that other save point, which wasn't so hard to get to. I mean, there's another door here, ice door, but we're not going to go down there yet. I don't actually remember what's in there. Probably something kind of cool, but really don't remember. But I hope you had a good time watching me get these items for you. I hope you learned a little something. Maybe you didn't know where some of these things were, and now you do. Maybe. Probably not, though. But, you know, I never know what you do and do not know. I wish I knew where all the items were, then I'd do a 100% run, but unfortunately that's just not the case. They can also be useful for getting up into these areas here. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope you had a good time, and I'll catch you next time. Have a good one.